Welcome to If They Won't Listen, episode 21. How is everybody doing tonight?
Going on?
Good. What's up?
Sweet. We got the guests on tonight from the Crazy Weathers podcast. How are you guys doing tonight?
Thank you. It's called the Weather's Crazy Podcast. We'll let that slide. But
I think we just changed it.
What the hell? You already screwed it up.
Sorry about that.
Great. It's tough. We appreciate you taking a break from your shift at Chuck E. Cheese to come do this podcast. Appreciate it. Do you have an arcade behind you?
Yes. I built this wall in my spare time. I'm very happy about it actually. Like this is 10 out of 10 for my emotional health. So
yeah,
nice.
So tell us a bit about your show. What do you guys talk about on there?
We kind of just talk about so we've known each other for almost 20 years. So we talk about kind of the ins and outs of our friendship and
friendship, dating, life. Our relationship, I would best describe it as a blend between comedy and philosophy. Him being the one that pulls us towards philosophy, and me the one that pulls us towards jokes. And so we're somewhere in the middle of that. So we thought it'd be a good idea to create a podcast where, we sort of juggle the two of those. But yeah.
What about you guys?
I started the show on a whim, actually. I'm into a lot of other things. I'm a musician that I'm working on slowly. I'm not public, I'm just working on getting everything done. And I'm a big gamer. And somebody said, why don't you have a podcast? The scene's getting really big. And I dragged Topher here into it. And we actually just kind of do this to bullshit, We don't plan to make any, finances in the beginning run of it. So we're just fucking around, having fun, laying the groundwork down.
Yeah. What's the emphasis behind If They Won't Listen? How did that get started? The name of the show.
Well, my old lady, my girl, doesn't like to listen to me talk at all. Like I could talk for I have a post-it note on the bottom of my monitor that says, Richard, don't talk forever. And I could for like I don't even need a subject. I could just talk. And like 6 hours later, we'll be like, whoa. So I've had to compress our relationship down from like my normal to 10 minutes to 5 minutes. So now I talk to her for about 3 seconds and then I know she's reached her limit, And so this show is out from her.
Is this a wife, girlfriend?
Fiance, technically.
Okay, cool. Fiance. Okay. How many years?
4. We have a almost 3-year-old. She'll be 3 on Valentine's Day. A little girl.
Wow! Congrats!
Wow, that's
so cool. Yeah.
What do you envision her becoming when she grows up? Do you have like a career you want her to be?
I've never thought about that.
She's going a princess.
Or a demon. I don't know.
Same thing.
I think my only outline at this point is I want her to not be a vegetarian. Besides that, I could really care less. Like she could be a lesbian or, you know what I mean? Really anything else. I want
lesbian, fine. Vegetarian, no.
No, seriously. Like I don't care your sexual preference. I don't even, I'm not, just saying, like, I wanted to eat steak. Yeah. That's it.
But if she brings home sweet greens, you're out.
I dated like 6 vegetarians in a row. Like almost every girl in high school was a vegetarian, and it was like I just got to a point where I could see strangers eating a steak while I was walking down like the city street looking at a restaurant, and like I would be like, damn, and I'm like getting turned on by a steak on a stranger's plate. I'm like, I gotta get a new girlfriend. I that's like top 2 questions I ask. Name. What do you eat?
Y'all grew up in a totally different era than I did because vegetarians were almost unheard of when I was a kid, especially in school. Everybody just kind of ate meat, whatever. The girls were a whole lot thicker back then, but it was more normal, and I'm dating myself, I'm sure, but I don't get the vegetarian movement or the vegan movement at all. We were supposed to have these proteins and whatever for a reason, maybe not in excess, but we're supposed to have them, so you don't end up looking, the women running around built like a 12-year-old boy.
Ironic because it looks like you're drinking celery juice right now.
I know, it's actually It's one of those cold cups, and the liquid inside is actually yellow.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That's very much not celery juice. Trust me.
So your real name is Topher?
No, it's
Christopher.
Oh, Christopher.
Yeah.
Topher for short. Got you. Okay. I got you. I thought you were the IT guy for this podcast when I first signed on.
Dude, no, not this time around. I could be. I just got enough other stuff going on that I really don't have much time. I can I plug it all the time on Instagram because I spend a lot of time on there. But otherwise, Ricky does the legwork.
What do you guys where do you guys publish? Are you guys video and audio or just audio?
Yeah, just audio for now, just on Spotify and Apple.
Nice.
We briefly tried out these like 1080p video cameras. But
Yeah.
it looked like you were watching like an old home video from like the 90s, which was kind of cool actually, but not for like watching an hour and a half long podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys can hear the fire truck going by. Perfect beginning to a podcast background audio.
your impression is kicking ass because I can't hear it.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's doing good. No, but if you go back to like episode 1, we ran into a crazy audio drift problem starting with a video because I was trying to record audio parallel to video, but through a separate program. And I ran into this crazy problem of having all these advanced settings not matching up timings. And in like 40 minutes of podcast, I was 6 seconds off looks to speech. And it was like this crazy thing where there was only 2 videos online and they were so vague that I had to figure it out myself. So I ended up solving it by coming to Zoom here where they were able to give me my own file that wasn't fucked up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it is what it is. But it's when you think about it, there's only about 1 billion people with access to internet. There's only about, give or take, with all the gross, just under 1 million podcasts now, and there's under 15% of those million that actually have a video. So like when you think about percents, it's like it's a very fucking small amount that But
yeah, you seem like you've done the math.
those are all numbers I've heard from other people. I wouldn't bet my life on them, but they're close enough that I would call them accurate. One thing I am curious about, what do you guys think about this whole vaccine? Are you guys gonna get it or what?
What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think right now I'm kind of at the wait and see stage. I've been historically very suspicious about vaccines. Just recently, I've gained a little bit of faith, so I'm not going to be first in line. That's for sure.
I mean, it's a brand new vaccine, according to the way they manufacture them, and certainly not a pathologist or anyone who knows shit. But I've heard a few people who do say they know things, and based on what I've heard from them, the normal vaccines we make have a piece of a virus in them, and they give that to your body. Your body's immune system then begins working in multiple phases to learn it and better beat it. But this is more of a jump start to your immune system, and we don't typically do that. They're not giving you part of COVID like in this vaccine. They're giving you like an RNA strain piece of genetic material that advances your body's ability to fight a virus. And it's fucking insane, but it's like, it's really weird when you hear 70 doctors say, oh no, this is perfectly good. We're fine. We know what we're doing. No problem. And then you hear like 5 who are like, well, we're kind of, I don't know who to fucking believe, but
Yeah, there's obviously a huge incentive for them to be confident in it and try to get everybody to feel like they should take it. So it's a bit hard to trust in that sense.
yeah, no, obviously, you know what I mean? The guy who's selling the serum obviously wants you to buy it. You know what I mean? It's even weirder with my daughter, with a 2-year-old, like to think about if I'd give it to her, like, I don't know the order of events, but if the news shows up that like there's a 30-day window for kids under 5, and then the next 2 years you can't get it under 5 because of limitations of
really?
then it'd be like, fuck, well, I don't know what to do. The doctors already give me shit with regular vaccines. Like when I go in and they're like, all right, we're gonna give your daughter 3 shots, I'm like, well, can I just get literature on them, and can you verbal me what you're about to stick into my daughter's bloodstream, please?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Some of these have long-term effects, it seems like. I don't know things as well. But.
Yeah, no, I don't know my ass from my elbow here. And I don't want to be the guy yelling fire in a hospital, you know, like, oh, you don't know what you're doing and your medical degree is full of shit. But I know that your degree doesn't make you smart. And more often than not, from what I've heard, there's so many people who, once they get a degree, don't have to actually practice the functionality of how you got the degree, that, you know, 10 years down the line, even if you have a PhD, unless you practice 7 days a week in that field, you kind of don't have a PhD. Like, you have the certificate, but you don't have the knowledge anymore. Like, you can't, you know, like, our brains just aren't that good, you know. They're pretty good, but
That
Yeah.
they call it practice for a reason. That's kind of scary in itself.
Yeah. It just seems like a good idea as a consumer as well to just ask questions about what you're going to stick in your body. Like, I feel like you should never just blindly put something in your body, even if someone tells you it's great. Like, ask questions first, validate it's good, and then do it. Especially if you have a daughter, a 3-year-old daughter, you don't know what the effects will be.
yeah, no, and not going to say I'm going to sit there on Google in front of her, but it's just, it was interesting to me that every time they give her a shot, well, they wanted to give her a shot right when she came out of the womb, like instantly. Like, I'm talking, she's on her, she hasn't even hit double digits of breaths, okay? And they're like pulling the needle out of, and I'm like, well, what are you doing? They're like, oh, this is just your regular, and I'm like, can we see if she's going to be all right? Like,
They don't warn you about that ahead of time.
well, they didn't warn. They didn't ask. They didn't do that. They just, boom, they were going to do it. And I stopped them like dead in the tracks. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, no, this is standard. And I was like, well, what's standard? You didn't ask me. Like,
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? You know? And like, I hadn't even held her yet. And they were about to stab her with something, you know? And then, like, I'm not going to be that hypochondriac guy, but it was just a manner of like, you know, just come on, give me, you know, I don't want to read in the bill later what you did now. Like, you know, and so they stopped and did the shot later, and most of them are very normal. But it's fucking weird. Like, I remember from what they said about the 1918 virus, that there was like a 60-year onset side effect. There wasn't a side effect for 60 years but on the second wave of the virus in 1918, it was like 4 times more deadly, and they ramped up the fucking doses of the virus, and a lot of them, you know, were kind of in this state, you know, experimental, just trying to push them out, you know, and yeah, there was a little side effects, you know. So I don't know. I'm not gonna run to get one. When you said wait and see, I was like, that's hilarious, because basically anyone I know who has pragmaticism is like, you know, let's see how many zombies I have to fight before I get.
Exactly.
I also think we're going to be like the last people in America to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if, like, you know how on the front of Time magazine you see like the first nurse getting the vaccine, or like the first person getting the vaccine. It'd be funny if like they had us two getting like the very last vaccine in America. Like, Greg and Jack, absolutely non-essential by all standards, can definitely work from home, good health. Just a nice bookend to COVID. You see us two.
That's not going to be on the cover of Time. It's going to be on the cover of Rolling Stone
Yeah, exactly. They're like, all right,
or Mad
as
Magazine.
vaccinated, everything's back to normal again.
Well, what about you, Spencer? Are you on the vaccine train, or where are you at?
I'm just going to sit back and watch everyone else do it and see what happens afterwards.
Yeah,
Time will tell. Time will tell, and I'll just watch time go by.
that's smart. There's I was looking at the news this morning, and there was this article I was reading. I have it here to show it to you guys in a second. I just wanted to find the part of the article I was reading. And I guess across the seas, they're talking about the new strain of COVID, and they're making it so serious. I don't want to say they're overblowing it, but the title of the article, and we know how clickbaity people get, but it's still going to the grocery store ? With the new virus variants spreading, it's probably time to stop. And I was like, all right, that's worth a read. Telling me to stop going to Shaw's. You got me. And no, it's like I don't know what's to say here. I'll share my screen and show you guys, but it's less deathly but more transmittable, and then they're losing their shit. You remember the predictions back in February before we had anything legitimate going on. You guys all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the title I just read right there. But yeah, I was reading this before the show, and I was like, Jesus, this is kind of like, stop going to the grocery store. It talks about needing a better mask, and how since at least December, the new more contagious variants have been out competing earlier versions. Like this sounds like a fucking race car factory. The new Lamborghini is out racing the last model that came out last season, and who knows what next year will do. Like what the, how competing? That I feel like that was the wrong vernacular. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, no, like this is just.
They always have a graph that's just spiking upward. And in any of these articles, there's always one graph that's just like, it looks terrible for us.
No, I was looking for an X and a Y axis on this actually before the show, and I saved the picture. And when I couldn't find an X and a Y axis, I didn't actually copy and paste it into my before show notes because I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to say. Like, cases per million, I get that. 7-day average of actual cases still. I don't know. Proper graphs need to be properly labeled. You went to, didn't you? Come on. But yeah, no, just a bunch of bullshit like that. And I got a few more articles here. I guess the U.S. Postal Service wants to remove a bunch of mailboxes for security reasons because they're worried that once Biden becomes president, there's going to be more riots, and they're like, we'll just cut our losses. Why let people's mail that's trying to go all over the country get destroyed? We'll just have them come into the post office and we'll get rid of the boxes. I thought that was interesting. Preeminent striking to remove things like.
Is mailboxes going to be a big target supposedly?
You got me, but
they must know something we don't.
I was kind of thinking that. I was kind of thinking like, what's actually the right here. So U.S. Postal Service removing mailboxes for security.
Look, kill the goblin.
Yeah, kill the goblin. Thank you. I'd click it, but would end up on fucking Pornhub. Yeah, I just slightly read into it. It says they temporarily removed mailboxes in major cities for the inauguration. Mail collection has been suspended at some mailboxes too. And it says it happened in at least 17 states. And at least 14 post offices will be closed on inauguration day. I don't know. Maybe they're worried about. My first thought was like people are going to be mailing bombs or something, or I was not thinking people were going to be picking up fucking post office boxes and throwing them at people or something. A little out there to me.
Things get lost in the mail too much for that to be like your tactic if you're trying to blow stuff up. Like the U.S. post office is just not reliable.
That's true. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I remember hearing about someone mailing in it. Like, when I was born in 94 and I'm 26. So shit, this must have been when I was of some level of cognizance to think about being poisoned and it being a problem. So maybe 9 or 10. I don't accurately know, but I remember hearing about, someone having an envelope mailed to like the White House or something that had anthrax on it or something. And I was like, that's fucking nuts. You can just put something and mail it. You didn't do shit. And I was like, that was before I watched Netflix serial killer shows and shit. But it's like, Jesus, like that seemed so OG when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like just gone. Chemicals, bitch. Oh man, I don't know. Fucking out of it. But
I'm obsessed with Netflix serial killer show. It's like all I watch these days.
Yeah, no, they're good. I just got into Dexter. Actually, I never watched it. I remember the craze when it was actually out. Everyone talked about it, but I'm like the coattails of the mainstream. Everyone else watches it and it's hyped. And like I never watched Game of Thrones, and now I might start going through it. And I listened to a podcast who summarized it every week because they were so hyped. And I know a lot about it and how the later seasons are kind of iffy based on the director leaving and stuff and budgetary reasons and dumb plot points, but it's like I don't know. Did either of you guys seen that? Anyone here seen?
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
Yeah. Well,
I saw the beginning few seasons. I fell out of it after a while. There was other stuff going on.
Yeah. No, I guess the first 5 seasons are like fucking the best TV you've ever seen ever, and according to people I've heard in a large majority, this is a consensus opinion that I'm giving you, and that's seasons 1 through 5 are almost good enough to watch, and then make your own ending and stop. And because right after season 5, I guess the main director left the cast, and so they weren't using him for the story anymore, and that's why 1 through 5 was so good, the richness in the plot or something. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but after 5, I guess the plot got stupid, and they went 4 more seasons without the dude who made the show having any input. And so when 1 through 5, they lay down 1,000 mini Easter eggs that might come back up, and in 5 through 9 they never touch on a single one, so you're left with more questions than answers. And I don't know.
Sounds like Lost.
I was too young to understand what was going on in that show when it was actually on TV.
Yeah, I've never seen Lost. Have you seen Lost?
No, yeah, same with me. I remember everybody talking about it, but I was way
I
too
always
young
get
to
that
watch.
confused with The Amazing Race. Those two are different shows.
They're very, very different. Amazing Race is great.
It's like a one or the scavenger hunt one. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both
Yeah, it's
lost
like
somewhere,
couples
right?
or friends that, yeah, but Lost is a series that are some people stuck on an
It's
island.
fictional.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not one of the
Amazing Race is like a game show.
Okay.
yeah.
You have to like
I thought
complete
Lost is not a
challenges
game
and
show?
travel. No.
24 is also different from all these two as well.
It is, yeah. So is The Price is Right.
Oh man, I love movies. I've been watching a shitload of movies and TV series lately. Where are you guys at? What's everyone? Anyone watching anything good? We're all home a lot more than necessary.
Yeah, I rewatched all the Fast and the Furious movies recently, which was just the best thing to do during quarantine. I didn't realize how good these movies were. I will fight anyone who disagrees.
No, I really like those movies too. I was a huge Paul Walker fan when I was a kid. Like I bought the same Converse shoes he wore when he was shifting that fucking Eclipse. And my first car I bought on the lot when I was when my parents bought me when I was 16 that I picked out was an Eclipse, and it was the model after the 96 model that was in the movie. But it's still I thought of it like it was that one, No, I was a huge fan of him. And then hearing the irony of a dude who has made millions of dollars in a race car franchise dying in the passenger seat of a race car.
Super sad.
Like,
Never-
just I'm not okay with it. I'm not going to be okay with it. Just a wicked.
But we got that good Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth song, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, Fast and the
Trying
Furious.
to make
is great.
lemons out of lemonade out of lemon.
Yeah.
That was a really good song. They did kill that.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're still running with it. So
It feels like every movie they're trying to outdo the previous one. Like they're trying to make it more ridiculous. And they're just getting to the point now, like there's nothing more to do. It's not even about car racing anymore. Cars are barely in it now. It's just like Vin Diesel and The Rock jumping from like helicopters onto other like cars. It makes no sense.
What's your favorite one?
Probably Tokyo Drift. What'd you say?
What was your least favorite one?
Oh, he's asking a tough question.
Yeah, there's one where I forget which one it is because there's so many of them, but there's one where it's The Rock and Jason Statham just fighting for half the movie, and they're pretending like they hate each other, but The Rock is just not a believable actor at all. Like everything he says sounds like comedy and not like action, but it's really funny.
That WWE training.
Yeah,
That's where he wanted to become an actor.
Vin Diesel is just wearing like a wife beater the entire series. He never wears any other shirt. It's only a tank top. That's it.
Hey, fun fact. He has a twin.
Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a person who's like one of my friend's moms who is absolutely fucking die hard in love with him. Like I used to date this girl and I would hang out with her parents to, get brownie points and try to get over there so I could, fuck her more often. And dude, she was super in love with Diesel and she was like, oh my God, he's a twin? Like, dude, and I was like, what? Really? And, oh yeah, like super twin. Weird. I kind of want a twin. Like I think that sounds dope. Kind of like
That's rough being Vin Diesel's twin.
Yeah.
Because everybody comes up to you in public and it's for no reason at all.
Yeah, I love doing movies, and you're like, I work
he's
at
constantly
Costco.
taking pictures like, no, my name's Mark.
I think you get as much sex as you want if you look like him though. Like biracially too and bisexually, like any sex, any race, you could hit it.
You feel bisexual?
No, I just mean like if you look like him, your preference wouldn't like it would be up to your preference that would matter.
That's true. He could go either way.
Uglier people have done more. I think that's one thing that appeals me so much about like anime and about like animated series is like the one thing that's never involved in my cognitive function with the show is like people actually looking, like people don't look better. They're all made from the same generator. Like, Steven doesn't look any different than, Stephanie. Like they have different colors. More or less, they're from the same archetypal, creator. And I just think that's interesting. If I walk down the street, I can see 17 different types of people, like homeless Jerry and, clerk Jimmy and, like all different types of walks of life, each one in different incomes brackets and, all this stuff. But what do you guys think about the whole political thing? I mean, I basically did nothing today but play RuneScape AFK and dive through Reddit, and all of Reddit is exploding with worried about Biden selling the country to China for a few pennies. So
What's that all about? So
pennies.
dude, I don't know shit. I swear to God, I'm not even lying. If you Google Biden and China, just those two words, you could spend the whole next week reading articles. Like that, a lot of people think Biden's in a coup with China or other parts of the world, and that he's gonna sell out America and make us. I've heard multiple people who live in the mountains where I live. I'm not gonna say they're the standard or the metric, but they might be the exception. But when you hear the exception 15 times every day for months, is it the exception or the standard? You know what I mean? Like
That's a really good point. Yeah.
kind of look for craziness, but I find a lot of it. Like I'll check a username and see how many followers you have, and I'll fucking hop onto my DDoS and check your IP and make sure you're not a fake robot just siphoning profiles. Like there's so many ways you can check to make sure you're not a fake person nowadays. It's super simple, and you could learn them all in 10 minutes on Google. But it's just it's disconcerting. Like I didn't know anything about Twitter for the podcast. I'm trying to learn how to build social media for all of us and have a better time. And apparently, like I don't know, more than half of Twitter is fake. Like just
there's bots everywhere.
Completely fake, because you can just get a generator to generate X amount of profiles, make all those profiles comment and like on a certain thing, and when they get 10 bad comments against someone's agenda, they just shove it 15,000 comments down the board, tab, and it's like, whoa, that's effective. And now there's people building algorithms to make good bots that fight the bad bots. Like this is like fucking cyber wars. Like what's
war?
It's just it's too much. I really want to build a social media presence, but I don't. Everyone's like, Instagram is nice. Well, I can't share links on Instagram at all. Like if I put them in a description, they're just they're white and black. They have
you can put it in. You can put links in your bio. The problem with the bio is that it's kind of short, so you can probably get away with one link.
No, even if I have a bunch of links of our shows in the prehistoric days of episode 1, 2, and 3, and you post, copy and paste, C, Control V into anything on Instagram. It just you can't click it. You can drag over it, make it a precursor, paste it, but.
No, you're absolutely right. But again, they do work if you put them in your bio itself. In the bio for the actual page, the links do work.
Oh yeah.
There's just a character. There's an allotment of characters you can use. Unfortunately, because I tried and it didn't work very well. So I just put basic information. This is it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about bio. I was just trying to do posting to try to do shit. What do you guys do for social media, if you don't mind, sharing your secretness?
Yeah, nothing illustrious, just Instagram. We usually post our episode link in the bio, but that's pretty much it. I think we maybe post on Twitter sometimes, but no one really, I feel like, clicks podcast links on Twitter. I feel like it's mainly just Instagram, and then, just word of mouth.
Why Instagram?
I think that just most of our friends are on Instagram, so it's an easy way to already communicate with people we know. We haven't done much effort in expanding too much yet.
Might be good for you guys since you guys do video. We don't do video, but like posting little video clips, I feel like really helps. Like we have a teaser video that we posted, which drew some traction, but I feel like video podcasts do well with like smaller clips and stuff. That's what like stand-up comedians do. They'll post like 20, 30 seconds of like a bit. To like bring people to their page or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, you guys are 100% right, and all the big guys are doing that. Rogan, and even my favorite show that's not really in the mainstream light, they do that too. main show fully published. Patreon, gives you early access to the main show because that's no extra work for free extra money. And then, like you guys said, taking clips. I've thought about doing that, and I'm not gonna lie. I sat down at this computer once, bink, boom, put down the bottle of wine, grabbed the notebook, and was like, "Here we go, clip time." I got like 6 minutes into listening to myself fucking talk about some stupid ass shit, and I was like, "Nope, I ain't doing the editing." Click, like as soon as I hit record and end, I'm out of here. And I don't remember anything I said. I know it was as true as I was gonna say it, but I don't. It's not saved up here. I'm like Sherlock Holmes. I remember what I want, and if I don't want to remember it, out of there.
What's your favorite show that you just mentioned but you didn't mention?
Yeah, you tease us with that. And then you didn't go on. Your
Keep-
podcast?
Your favorite?
Podcast?
Yeah, you.
Oh, it's called Painkiller already, PKA. It's fucking hilarious. I've been listening to it for 10 years, and there's no way to describe it. They do what I do. They do not really what Rogan does. Rogan's an interviewer, comedy or interview style podcast, comedy, but like our style, just bullshitting and not really a topic based thing, just segue and just keeping it active. It's the same as them, but they were what made me so hyped about doing this because I never wanted to be hateful, but I was worried, like, with political correctness and all this. The show that I watch, they gross 15K a month on just Patreon, like not just subs. They've been doing it 10 years, so obviously that's a long time, and I'm willing to put in the time. But it's the manner of how they do it because they're never worried about what to talk about. Like literally, you want to talk about cannibalism or how the fact that there's so many pedophiles in America that raping kids must be kind of nice. Like literally anything they want to talk about, they talk about, and dude, they don't get banned. YouTube doesn't fucking terms of service them. Because the way they present it is like kind of the way I present mine, like a really responsible bio and links. And I'm not, I'm not clickbaiting like rapey titles and stuff. And so they, even if they talk about egregious things, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I see a lot of people do a lot less and get shut down from social media. And I listen to their show every week religiously. Like I'm a $35 patron and I listen to all their shit and just no holds bar. It's super fun. Like you talk about whatever you want. And that was kind of why I started this. My only real rule when I started this was no F slur or N word. And we ruined the F slur in like the first 3 episodes because Topher and I kept dropping it. So we're kind of just at no N word now. And we had,
Hopefully we can break that by the end of the show.
Not gonna lie, that's been even on PK. That's been said a bunch of times too. Like from the main host, co-host. It's like and yeah. I hate to say it, but there's no such thing as bad publicity.
How does Patreon work with getting paid? Like I've heard people say that like when you start your own thing and you don't want it to, you sort of want it to be impenetrable from people trying to bring you down. Patreon's a good place to go. I know like Kosh Singh and Andrew Schultz, Flagrant 2, whatever.
Yeah. Patreon just fully you. If someone's paying you on Patreon, it's done third party. They take out their 0.1% if it's under $10, or their 1% if it's over $15, something like that. Nothing crazy, like under 5% of every dollar you make, or under 10% or 15% of every dollar you make. And then it's you. So like you can get banned on every platform, but as long as you can get links out to your fans, your Patreon can still run. Like you can even post your show straight on Patreon if you had a link. Like I could post my Zoom link to YouTube, get the link on YouTube, make it unlisted on YouTube so YouTube doesn't rip it down, because the algorithms on YouTube don't pull unlisted videos down ever because you're unlisted. You can't be found unless you're given a link. So they don't waste the bots' times by searching those. So you can do, there's funny little tricks you can do and stuff like that. But yeah, I have a bunch of ideas for this. I don't know what's gonna work best. Zoom was the easiest for us so far.
What are
Nice.
your pros and cons with Spotify?
As far as posting on it, none really. I mean, I could even post on it like starting now. We only post on YouTube, iTunes, and
Podbean.
And Podbean is my main expediter. Podbean posts to iTunes for me. They can also post to Spotify and Google, Store. And Spotify has like, I don't know, fucking 9 aggregates it can. So it's really cool. I just way back when I started this, I did like, I don't know, 12 hours of clickety clack typing and profile filling out, and my head was hurting. So I stopped at those 3. But yeah, no, we could be on Spotify. I didn't know if it would cost money to have to post on there. I already have like 4 concurrent subscriptions just to just to post on YouTube and
What about you, Greg and Jack?
Yeah, it's been great just because so many people already use Spotify for music, so it's not like asking them to go to another app or whatever. So it's very convenient, at least for us.
I feel like it's easier to share Spotify links. For some reason, Apple really doesn't want you
That's
to
true,
share
yeah.
links. Like, it's just not as easy. But Spotify, you can link your episode. You can link just the podcast in general a lot easier. You can also share to directly from Spotify to Instagram, whereas with Apple, you can't go from Apple to Instagram for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why. I guess they don't want you to, Instagram doesn't want you to do that. I'm not sure.
And what would be your one negative thing to say about Spotify?
It's not really made for podcasts. It's made for music. And so they're sort of podcasts. The way you find podcasts probably would be the main downside. Like, if you're someone who wants to find, cool local podcasts to listen to, Spotify is not going to give you great options or figure out how to find a new one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a lot of other ones too. A few of our co-hosts, a few of our guests we've had on the podcast up to date. At least 2 of them have used Ask FM. That was a big posting website. Squadcast, a lot of people use. I tried to use Squadcast, but they're running some fucking prehistoric Windows 98 version of fucking, I don't even know. But I tried to send one link out the first time, paid for a premium plan, and Chris and my other co-host at the time couldn't even log in. Like, they got in and they were like, my camera, and it won't recognize my mic. And then I was like, fuck all this. We'll go back to Zoom or Discord, whatever we were using. I think Discord's the future, to be honest. That PKA show I listen to is on Discord. They have templates. So if there's 4 people in the show, they have templates with nameplates and sponsors on the side. And then if they want to show a video like I did, he has some sort of way to copy and paste a different template overlay on the screen, kind of like Twitch or OBS would do. And then show the screen. Because like when I share screen on Zoom, I lose control of the videos. Like, you guys disappear for me and it's just that. And I don't know, lack of control too. The Zoom also doesn't have any options. Like, Zoom only records at 3,200 kilohertz or bit rate or whatever the term for that is. And I guess that's really bad for audio quality, but you don't really have a choice. That's just all they record at. And they're a brand new thing. So maybe in the future they'll get better, but it's interesting at least. I've had a shitload of fun in the community though. Everyone has been super nice. And especially, I'm just trying to learn how to properly manage the show. You know what I mean? I don't want to put in 3 times the amount of time for a quarter of the return. But yeah, there's just a lot of research out there about it.
What do you guys do any editing or any like post podcast stuff? Sounds like you don't, because you don't listen to it at all, right?
What was the first part of what you said?
Do you do any like editing afterwards?
As far as like taking things out, no. Never. I would if I had to. That wouldn't be difficult. I have a super good editing program that I paid like $300 for because I was an idiot. I Googled top 10 editing programs and I was like, well, the 3rd one sounds good. Click. And fucking like 3 hours later, I was like, oh, this is terrible. There's 3 better programs. Fuck. And it was a manner of like, well, it's a cost of doing business. And so I made some concessions with how I do things to get it to work on this other thing. But it's really the same as everything else. You had to learn how to use it. It's the same with anything, I guess. I use Camtasia for all my editing. So it's just it's an editing platform, whatever. It's super, super milquetoast normal. But yeah, no, I really wanted to have a video right from the start. I've had a Patreon right from the start. We don't have any patrons, but frankly, that doesn't bother me. I'm learning how to I want to record the really big thing I see for financial gain is recording a private show secondary to your main show. So like record your regular show and then on Patreon have links to an unlisted YouTube video with an additional show that you record only for patrons. And so you can make it extra wild or make it a drinking show or a shirtless show or whatever, niche cliche little topic you want to hit, or even just make it a regular show, but people who love you want more content. And that's been a big part of what I've been trying to do next. It's just hard with scheduling, everyone's got jobs and lives and shit. You know what I mean? You guys live near each other. Do you guys have problems scheduling, or do you guys schedules match up pretty chill?
We usually just do it the same time every week, so it's pretty predictable.
He's always working. He's always in a warehouse. That's not even a joke. That's honestly where he works in the warehouse.
Do all three of you guys have kids, or only you?
I have 0 kids.
Hear from Spencer. Spencer, you married? You single? What's going on?
Oh, I'm here. I just like to listen. Yeah, I got a lady.
That's it? That's all you're going to give us?
That's all.
Hey, you kind of got the Secret Service vibe.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you in like a local production of The Matrix or something? What's going on?
I wish I was. I have a whole lot flyer of a place to live in.
I like the artwork behind you. It looks great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
That's
Got
cool.
Yeah, so I got a little Ripley action going on here.
Oh, nice.
I've seen those guys. Look at you showing me shit I've never seen.
Yeah, and I got a buddy of mine who did this for me one night. We were both tripping, and he was like, I got something for you. On the spot made that, so it's my little penguin dude.
Yeah, that guy's a friend. Like, that guy would be at my wedding. He'd be my best man.
He's the dopest guy I ever know. Like, that guy is just always has your back. Is always there for a good conversation. Just has good times, and everyone gets along with the guy. So like, you can never go wrong. It's like having a really cool like friend. It's like, here you go, and it's like, no problem. Everyone loves him.
Penguins are my favorite animal. I love penguins. Penguins are dope. Like, they're cute. They're in a little suit. You know what I mean? Like, I want to touch one. I've never touched one.
I'm not obsessed with penguins, but my favorite penguins are probably the ones from Batman Returns. Like the one the character the penguin had.
Yeah.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. That's hilarious. You should do stand-up. That's a great bit. That would crush.
I used to do it back in the day, but
no way.
Never worked out too well.
That's part of it though. You should have kept going, man. Like, from everything I know from the few comics I've had in my life personally, is like, bombing is like the one thing you don't want to fucking feel, and by feeling it, you get good or you never do it again.
I love the feel. Like, at one point, it was like I got so used to it. It was just like, yeah, how quickly can I bomb this? And then it was like, I remember one time I had a pretty decent joke about comparing Ted Kennedy to Shamu at SeaWorld. How they were both killers and they just kept getting away with it.
I've been starting to wonder lately, not gonna lie, like, when my stand-up career is gonna come in, because like it's totally par for the course. Like, I'm a rowdy musician who talks about things that no one wants to hear about, and not no one like stupid topics, but what's deemed controversial, which is just like normal life stuff. I know, Jack, you said you're into philosophy. How hard is it to talk to someone at the bar about philosophy? It's fucking impossible, because no one at the bar wants to hear about philosophy. All right.
I don't even think I
He's
think he
always going to a
exaggerated.
bar
I'm not
talking
into
about
philosophy. You just ask people personal questions, and then they don't even realize they're talking about philosophy.
His first line in a bar is, "You ever heard of Socrates?"
That's how it's 100% not.
You and me would get along, man. Dude, I listened to the fucking the Republic like 3 times on audiobook. I love Socrates and Plato, and I love philosophy. I hate that philosophy is so out there in your face. The answers, or at least, if we were to accept and live in a society where we were pragmatic and just worked with logic and accepted some things, like, we didn't create ourselves, and most people who are here didn't ask to be here. Let's give them a little credit that they're figuring things out. Help them figure things out. I don't know.
Yeah.
The cure to, everyone who has an antidepressant in their medicine cabinet is like, just you could have talked to them and figured out why they were so anxious, as opposed to being like, well, this medication will fix it. It didn't fix it, doctor. Well, this new medication will fix it. This one didn't do it either, doctor. Well, we have a new one, and fucking 17 medications later, they have liver disease. And it's like, well, we've achieved stagnation. You're dead now. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would like to live in a world where those little pill boxes for each day of the week don't exist. So you don't have like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you know, it's like 6 in each one.
We should do that with vitamins. We really should do that with vitamins. I'm not a healthy person, nor have I ever been a healthy person. But after listening to Rogan religiously, he's had on enough scientists who talked about vitamins to the point of like extending your life by 25% for $30 for a bottle that lasts you a year. And there's only like 6 different really important ones. So you equivocate that to 6 times, 3, we're talking $180 plus shipping, maybe $200 worth of vitamins. And if you could live 25% longer, why wouldn't you? And it's like, well, okay, now I'm stupid because I could live long. And it's like, well, do I want to live longer though? Is that the question? Let's get back to the philosophy. How bad is this?
If you eat the right way, you can get all that anyway. So honestly,
Wrong. Your body's not good at receiving a lot of it, like at all.
body's built to receive it.
No.
Oh, okay.
About vegetarianism, Topher?
Yeah, right.
No, I brought like vitamin C. There's a receptor, and I'm gonna use a bunch of words that are not the scientific words here to explain this in a simple way. Our body doesn't receive vitamin C as good as it should. So even if you eat the most high vitamin C foods and drinks, you don't receive 100% of what you take in because part of your body is blocking it from being absorbed. And there's a vitamin that is like a pre-receiver to open up your body to receive more. And it's the fucking $10 pill you take that both gives you vitamin C and it gives you the ability to open that blocker. It'd be like if we were in an anime. This is blocking your chi or your aura. You need to open this shit up or you're not going to get nothing in. It's like super, super simple. But and that exists in a lot of places. Like I used to install pools. Chlorine has a version of sunblock. And we call it that because it's understood it blocks the sun, but it's a chemical that protects a chemical. And that's all it is. This is reverse that. This is a chemical you give to your body or a nutrient you give to your body that allows your body to accept another nutrient in a better form. And I didn't know about that. And I don't know what I'm deficient in because I can't afford to go get a test. But, multivitamin just doesn't cut it. I used to think, oh, well, I take a multivitamin. I'm fucking healthy. I eat steak once a week, duh. But I'm so far from healthy, and I'm wondering for $200, what percent could my quality of life, improve,
Yeah, so what are those vitamins? What are the 6 that you're talking about?
Well, just the regular healthy shit like vitamin D and what D3 and B3, I think, and vitamin C. You have to take the nutrient that allows you to receive it better, and then you can just drink like fucking orange juice, and you'll get a good amount. But like a lot of the standard medications you see for vitamins are at like 2,000 IU. All the people who are 50, 60, and 70 and look like Rogan, who are super buff, take 10,000 IUs of that vitamin per day. And even doctors will tell you there's not even really a diminishing return until 15 or 20,000. And it's like, well, the society would tell you taking more than 2 is dangerous. But the specialists and the advanced, muscle heads and all the people who do this every day of their life tell you, nah, society's wrong. Like you need more of this. Your body's not good at taking it in. And so just take more. I've been thinking about, finding a place that has a sauna and finding a place that has cold baths because of like the hot shock proteins and cold shock proteins. Your body produces things when it's in excess heat and excess cold that don't exist otherwise, and it increases metabolic rate and it helps with blood flow and just a long list of things that I don't have to pay someone for. Like if I can just walk into a gym, hop into a sauna, deal with 100 degrees for 20 minutes or whatever, and then go jump in an ice bath and it improves my quality of life. Like that's a really small thing to do.
Hold on. So let me see if I get this straight. Somebody somewhere decided that it was a good idea to trick your body, this perfect machine that we have that works exactly the way it is meant to. And evolution has decided this and made it work exactly the way it's meant to, into receiving something that it's obviously not meant to if it doesn't on its own.
No, it's
and somebody decided that this is a good idea.
No, it's 100% healthy. Like literally, it's like it.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to believe it. That's the miracle.
That's good.
Some people who don't believe it die.
Richard, you sound super believable. I would follow you anywhere.
And then you have people like George Burns who ate wrong and smoked cigars until they were 100 and something and were perfectly healthy. So I'm a crap bullshit. Sorry.
That's just more the exception. That's not the standard. I used to say the same thing. I haven't smoked cigarettes in 10 months. But
Okay, so what makes the exception?
the exception is someone having top tier 1% genetics and being able to outlive.
Oh, so it has to do with the personal individual metabolism and genetic codes. It's got nothing to do with what some scientist or doctor or weightlifter actually said.
All those people and jobs you listed study the thing that you aforementioned before.
No. So, what you're saying is that it has more to do with genetics than anything else.
The
You
people
actually admit this.
in the case of the person who lives till 100 abusing their body, yes. I would say the majority of people who live past 95 cared for themselves. My great grandmother lived till 94 and she was in fully walking, fully sustainable quality of life till 92. Like, I'm starting to quantify 50 as pretty good, you know? Like, I'm 26 and I'm cynical as shit. I can't get much worse. But, you know? Hey, man, I did, you know? It's a different day and age, man. Maybe your day was just easier, my brother. Like, the internet's stressful. I don't know. It's getting hard.
There's your problem.
Maybe. I don't know.
Spend too much time looking at life through other people's rose-colored glasses.
I don't know. Maybe, but
That's some philosophy for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Topher, did you say you had any kids?
Yeah.
Don't sound too happy about it.
No, I very much am. I don't get to see, the kids as much as I would like, even though they live right across town. But, my work schedule.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend's got like 6 all gone. Her youngest is 19.
Wow. Were you guys both in the delivery room? That's a debate we were having a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I would not want to be in the delivery room if my wife was. I'm not married, but if I had a wife, I would not want to be in the delivery room with her.
Yeah, when my son was born, that was absolutely. I mean, don't get it wrong. It was one of the most beautiful things and one of the most awesome things I've ever seen and witnessed in my life, and I was there for. If I never, ever, ever hear any living creature scream like that again, I will be good. Because my ex-wife let out one of the most horrific screams right there, the kind that rips your very soul apart. I'm like, nope. So glad I'm not female, and I never want to hear that noise again. Ever. Even out of somebody I fucking hate and would love to see drawn and quartered publicly. I never want to hear that noise again.
Yeah, not even from a vegetarian.
No, not even from a vegetarian.
See, I didn't have the same experience. My girl was 20. Let's pretend I'm good at math here. She was about 20 when she had my daughter, and super easy. It was an induced labor, which meant like we kind of got to choose the day, and then you get to have a really uncomfortable moment of a doctor sticking 3 different medications 12 hours apart up your significant other, and that brings about pregnancy. And so it was like we got there on Monday and 12 hours had the kid Wednesday at 1 p.m. and Wednesday was Valentine's Day, so it was pretty chill. But yeah, I was in the room, and everything was chill. Like it was about what I expected. I mean, I played Call of Duty. I've amped up my gore settings to understand what that shit could look like. I knew there'd be some pasty stuff and some brown stuff and some red stuff. Like I was prepared. The thing that got me was I almost passed out during the epidural. It got me, bro. Like, girls had.
Was that kind of day like a defining moment where your life was definitely different afterwards, or you kind of did it hit you right away?
I'm not a normal person. No, I don't know. I still think, I don't know. I loved music more than my daughter still for the first like 6 months. Like, like music kept me alive.
Oh, I appreciate that answer. Yeah.
You know, music, like I just mean in the sense of like all my years prior to having a family or another creature that especially I propagated, you know, music was my day-to-day solace. Like even
I
on a,
realize in like 20 years, she's going to hear you say that going over, oh, I'm going to look at Dad's old podcast. And what in the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't bullshit. If someone doesn't want to hear what I have to say, they probably should. But yeah, no, I quite honestly, like it was a really weird thing for me. What do I have to care about more? Because like it's a really big, I don't know. I was trying to think of the vague definition to call it, the mental health slash responsibility slash reality philosophy. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you have what you see and what you think, the philosophy and the reality. And that's not tethered to anything else. Like how my life goes and who I am is like kind of its own thing, because I don't get special treatment if I'm kind of special. Like I just have to fit in the curve, and my landlord doesn't care if I'm kind of smart or kind of genuine. Like, you know, like my little tweaks and differences don't make a big difference. It's just interesting, you know, like my big thing, and I've talked about it on a bunch of podcasts, and I'll talk about it as long as it's relevant. I don't know what to teach my daughter. You know, I've been studying philosophy and metacognition and advanced neurological science and psychology for a long time. And I understand how the world is through the bullshit in the most cynical sense. And I cope with it fine. But I've met other people who like, you know, like, does that stuff really exist? And they don't, like, they need rainbow land. And I think that's okay. Like a simplistic life isn't a bad life, but when you put too many simple people with too many people who are, and I, for lack of a better word, woke, you know, not in PC terms, but in the sense of someone who's just like, hey, you know, there's different people like this and people like that. You know, I don't agree with all of them, but they exist. You know, what am I gonna do? Fucking hate them? Like, rather just not worry about people who I don't have to. Super simple. I just don't know what to teach her, you know, like teach her all the cool things about, you know, how to think and, you know, why things are the way they are. You know, like what I got taught in my 11 years of school was not anything that was relevant to my existence. Like my hard days where I like broke down and needed help and like might not have made it to tomorrow was not aided by fucking algebra 1 in ninth grade. You know, like, and so to say it prepares you for real life. Yeah, it prepares you for your job that pays your rent, that eventually lands you in like the first 5 minutes of the movie Up, of really sad, you're going to lose everyone you ever love and work your time away type paradigm. And it's just really weird. I don't know what to do. You know, I think apocalyptic world would, I said that seeing a zombie movie earlier with my girl. I was like, you know how much less anxiety I would have having to pay the rent if we didn't have to pay the rent and we just had to survive. Like literally, I can survive. Nope.
Fight off the undead regularly. You know,
even if
it's definitely much less stressful.
I can fight live people. Like that's okay too. I'm game. You know, like they don't have to
be good in a zombie apocalypse.
I would like that. I think that'd be fun. What about you? Well, like, what's your, if it could happen right now and my life would improve, what would it be?
If your life could improve right now, what would I suggest?
No, I think he's asking about your life.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking me to give a suggestion for you. I was like, I don't know if I know you well enough, Richard. You know, maybe do some tweaks.
I don't know. I'm kind of interested to hear that answer.
What I would suggest for him?
Definitely the vitamins.
Yeah, you know, I mean, let's see.
Percocet?
Whatever that green juice.
Oh wait, there we're going back into the antidepressant drugs again.
What are you drinking?
Can we just let's set this aside right now. What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? Well, I was drinking rum and Coke.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, that's the joke. You're finishing it. Okay, I get it. Took me a little while.
One thing that can make your life better?
Yeah, what's one thing that can make my life better? I don't know. I've recently tried to start meditating. Everyone tells me to do this. I'm not a very Zen person. I don't know if you can tell by the everything about me, but I'm just not very good at being like peaceful. I can easily get annoyed in situations or like flare up on people pretty easily. So meditation might be good for me, at least logically it would be, but I don't know. I sit there for 10 minutes and I'm like, am I changed? Am I different now? Do I feel more at peace with the world around me, with myself? I don't think I am, but maybe I just need to keep doing it.
You can't do something and expect it to happen like miraculously that moment. It's kind of like a muscle. You just got to keep working at it, and that 500, you'll be able to lift that 5-pound bell a lot quicker as opposed to day one.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yes, it depends on the person too, because I'm a lot like Greg in that aspect. I can't do the meditation thing. I sit for a few minutes and I'm like, all right, I feel like I should be doing something. If I really need to center myself, reset, whatever, I zone out into whatever music I happen to want to listen to at the time. Get, especially like in the summer or whatever, roll the windows down, crank the music, and just go. That soothes, that helps me to reset and relax and come back to whatever situation calm and not all anxious about anything.
Well, that's a form of meditation in itself too, though. Like that whole thing you were describing about, like, listening to the music, like listening to your tunes. Like, obviously there's a certain frequency that you just get where it makes you able to just kind of drift off in space. So like you're kind of doing.
Oh, no, it's not drifting off in space. I'm right there with it, singing at the top of my lungs as I'm rolling down the highway. There's no drifting off. It's losing myself in it.
Wait, when you say, like, which part? Like just everything that's annoying you?
I get what you're saying. You're kind of like you're sort of just settling into like the song. Like you're letting it carry you where it wants to, and you're just sort of relaxing in it. That's cool.
Exactly. Lose yourself, and I lose myself in the music, and I just kind of go, and it relaxes me, and it just helps me reset. And when I come back to whatever I was dealing with before, whether it be just, had a rough day, this is happening, that's making me anxious, there's this over here that needs to be paid, there's this going on over there, I come back and deal with it afterwards. My bank screwed up again, but we won't get into that right now. Shit like that. Go and reset, come back, deal with it with a clear head.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on about this, but people like FaceTime me, and I that grinds my gears for some reason. Like when people just FaceTime me out of the blue, like people that I don't talk to on the phone just think they can FaceTime me, like pop in on my life like that. I don't share my location with anyone. I would never just open up a screen to what I'm doing in the world to anyone. And to see, like right now, I'm getting upset talking about it, and I don't know. So this is why I need meditation. So maybe I should just fall into some music like Topher and probably drink a rum and coke.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm probably both, I guess. I'm a musician, and music is held above all things now. I guess now it goes daughter music and then some other stuff. I don't list. I don't know what 3 is. It's something. Probably my girl, I guess, is the smart answer. That's what I tell her.
She's gonna listen anyway.
I'm understanding why she won't listen.
Fucking listen to shit. And
well, you want to hear something funny? The way this actually started, this started even before, somebody said, hey, why don't you have a podcast? Because Ricky and I used to work together, and we'd spend some days literally hours sitting in my company truck off-road while our client's off in a driveway or something, fucking around, and have nothing to do but just talk and shoot the shit for hours and hours and hours. And one day we just kind of said, we should record this because some crazy shit comes out of your mouth when you're sitting there for hours and hours with nothing to do but just kind of hang out and talk.
right. No, that brings up a good topic. I'm curious about that real quick. And like I said, we're at a pretty good, or at least an adequate amount of showtime now. So if you guys need to leave or anything, or if time's pressing, by all means, let me know. But otherwise, we'll run for like 15 or 20 more minutes, and we'll call it whatever.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm anxious to hear what the question's gonna be.
I'm not sure I am.
It's not as magical as you think. Just Topher segued into talking for hours in the truck, and I was just curious, how long is your show? And is your show at the length that you want, like in the perfect version of it? Like my show right now is an hour, and in the perfect version of it, I want it to be 4 hours weekly. Like that's going to be my every single week. 4 hours is the, if I get to 3.5 and everyone's fatigued, I'm not going to be like, no, keep going. Like I'll be like, okay. But like, I think that's a really quality thing. And especially if you want to get clips, like having 4 hours to pull from, that's way more brilliant than an hour,
Yeah, you're trying to put up Rogan numbers. 4 hours is a long time.
My other favorite show is 4 hours too. So to me, for 10 years now, I've been listening to the same exact podcast that was 4 hours every week for 10 years. So to me, 4 hours is milk toast. It's like, I could do 5.
I believe you could do 5. So is your reasoning for that, like you just like the more you go at it, the more you're chatting, like the more interesting material you'll find or the more interesting conversation you'll bring about? Is that sort of why you want to do that long?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like in an hour, I have to look up 3 or 4 or 5 tabs of things to bring up when it dies down. Otherwise, I can just ask who, what, when, where, why, hit you with the 5 W's, and then see where it segues. And it's like, I'm not gonna lie. In an hour, I have to short form everything. Like I can't be like, I need to get this point across and tell you how I really feel for 10 minutes because that's a sixth of a show. And it's like, not that I'm against that because I've certainly done that, but I don't know. 4 hours to me, that's 4 hours I get to hang out with my homies. Like if you need to go up and go take a piss, you can do that. There's 3 other people to bullshit, and if you're prepared for it, I don't know. I love sitting in this chair and sitting here and bullshit and the fact that I can hit up people who I would never meet in my day-to-day life and, just learn about what they think about. Like that's, to me, it's really cool. Like this is what I would do in my free time. And, I could, oops, drop my lighter. I could even like, at the same time play games, and I've done it in the past. I've been AFK RuneScape clicking while doing the podcast, and it doesn't distract me at all because I have to click once every 12 minutes. Not hard. I just wait till I'm not talking, click, and then I'm back to you guys. But
which takes usually more than 12 minutes.
But yeah. So in how long is your show, and what would be the preferred length for it in its perfect form? Or is it?
Case in point, since it took him this long to get back to the original question and let you answer.
We're doing 4.5 hours. No, I'm just kidding. About 45 minutes, honestly. 45 minutes. We usually record for like an hour 20, hour 30, but ideally 45 minutes. And we like have a structure to our show and an idea of what we're going to talk about beforehand. So it goes by really fast. And there's almost no searching for something to say.
Yeah, I would say for like because we sort of fluctuate between things that we try and make funny or we think are funny versus just conversations that we have about maybe philosophy or dating or politics, whatever. And those conversations will go on for a while versus like the comedy stuff is really short. And it probably should be short. Otherwise, you're probably just milking for stuff that like isn't really funny or, like if you're trying for a long, long time, you probably should stop. So we try and keep those short, but some of our conversations, like we'll have to edit it because it'll be like 2-hour conversations. And like the other day we were talking about Gregorian chants for like an hour and a half. And we might keep that in for the episode because it was a really funny conversation.
No, I'm with you. And that's the thing. Like, if we had, even I think I think the biggest change might be 1 to 2. Because like, we probably will have done this for about a year or close to it before we switch to a 2-hour show, unless we get a precipitous gain in viewership. But I don't know. I'm really looking forward to just not being worried about, someone trying to get a point across. You know what I mean? Like you start encroaching on a time limit and you're like, for me, 45 minutes is like, that's like 3 sentences. Jesus. Like that's insane. I could not, I don't know. I was just born to talk, I stifle emotional insecurity with just never shutting up. If you don't talk, I'll talk. You got something to say? I'll shut up. What do you have to say? I'm waiting. Okay. I'll go. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but
Yeah, that's a good thing about podcasts. You can kind of do it 12 ways from Sunday. So
yeah. I have a question for Spencer. Spencer, how do you feel about listening for 4 hours to a podcast?
I mean, as long as the material is good, what's the problem?
like simple and to the point.
Yeah, like the choose.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. He has been less interactive tonight than he is typically. And
Can I ask you a question, Spencer? If there was one person from history or alive today that you'd like to take to dinner, who would it be?
I'm actually curious to hear everyone's answer.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Dead or alive, doesn't matter.
I'd probably go with Martin Scorsese.
Oh, okay.
That's a great answer. Why Martin Scorsese?
Like the guy influenced me in the '90s as a child. The guy, Goodfellas, at least in my household, is like almost like comparable to the Bible of how just like holy it is.
Are you Italian? You're fucking Italian, aren't you?
I mean, like I'm part Italian, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't make up the majority of who I am.
Yeah.
However, but like I did grow up near New York and everything. So like, when I see him make his New York films, I'm just like, oh, that's this neighborhood. That's this neighborhood, and blah 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 and so forth. So it's like, it's always enjoyable to watch his films and see where he's filming in New York. However, it's like watching him in interviews and just listening to him talk about movies is just so interesting and so like enjoyable. It's just like, I kind of wish he was my grandfather, and I'm just like, I would love to sit by the campfire and just be like, tell me more. Like, what else? What else?
Yeah.
Hugo, hold that one back. But anything else, I'm good with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about
everybody else?
Yeah. Well, answer his question, Topher. Anyone from history, current, past, dead, alive?
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah.
The name that immediately came to mind was Johnny Depp.
Oh, wow.
Just he's a man of so many different talents and so many different faces and hats. I think having dinner with the man would be, at the very least, entertaining as hell.
Yeah, that's what
I think it would be a good night all the way around, because I don't think you could ever run out of things to talk to the man about.
With Johnny Depp, is he a conversational guy? I feel like he might just sort of give you the silent treatment for 2 hours.
Well, I don't know, and it's hard to tell because he's a man of so many different faces and so many different talents.
Yeah.
See, and there would be the problem with it. My girlfriend and I were actually discussing that earlier. How exactly could you have a relationship with a man like that? And not that he would be a bad person to have a relationship with, but how do you know, will the real Johnny Depp please stand up? How do you know what's really, really him underneath that? Because he's always got another persona. And I suspect living with him, you would kind of get to know after a while, all right, this is the real Johnny, and he's researching a role, or he's revisiting a role because, this kind of fits in right here and it makes sense, whatever, or he's a musician today. But so, he's probably, I don't know. I think I would like to. I think I would like to sit and have dinner with him one night. That would be. I just think that would be pretty cool because we could talk about pretty much anything, or nothing. Just like, oh man, this food's fucking delicious, and all you hear is a sound of chewing. It was still, it's a good night. We had a good meal. I had a good meal with Johnny Depp. Either way, I'm pretty sure I went.
What about you, Richie?
My first thought immediately into my head was pussy. It was Shailene Woodley from the Divergent series. I was like, I could ask that girl some questions, but we wouldn't be talking to you.
Actress?
What?
The movie with the guys and
I'm not going to get this.
What's that? No, the movie that made everybody cry.
Baby Driver.
No. Yeah, that guy. He was in another movie. Hold on.
This is not going to be good for your podcast.
Hold on. He was in another movie where he was like stuck on with those tubes around him. Yeah. The Stars.
Don't point at them like they know what you're talking about.
Fault in Our Stars.
No one knows what you're talking about.
They know.
Anyways, all right. Can you continue, please? Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, no. She was the main protagonist in A Fault in Our Stars and the Divergent series. And I think in A Fault in Our Stars, the person who was her lover was her brother in the Divergent series. But I haven't seen A Fault in Our Stars, I'm guessing. But so she's number one. Number two, though, like when I got down to brass tacks and thought about who I would talk to, like if they existed, it totally would be, Plato or Socrates. Like I can't think of a person who could handle my long-windedness. I'm long-winded because of them. It's their fucking fault. That dude asked. I swear to God, I bet over 1,000 questions about a city that existed parenthetically. You know what I mean? What should we allow
Yeah.
people to say?
There would be no point in having dinner because neither one of you get anything eaten. Oh no, it's a demon.
Oh yeah, I have 2 hairless cats, by the way. This is one of them. Her name is Blue. She's adorable.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. Very adorable.
Nice. She kind of looks like you, like a little bit, like a cat version of you. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
It's a great compliment to Shailene Woodley that she would beat
Yeah.
out Socrates.
It wasn't for
I
Tom.
mean, this guy must have really liked the Divergent.
Divergent series, then Plato.
I really did. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that Divergent series is like you see those old memes about anti-racism from the 80s and sitcoms. Like, that whole series is basically that. Like, it's, I don't know if there's that topic is basically a winner in every version of every movie. Like, think about the amount of applications that the difference of a color, a race, or in anything made the difference. Like, it exists in Rick and Morty, it exists in real life, it exists in fucking movies, whether it's accurate about history or whether it's preposterous aliens. This alien doesn't like that green snake because he's not the black snake, and maybe black was the wrong color because it referenced something else. But still, there's so many differences that are unilaterally unrelated to our existence, but everyone thinks about all the time. Like, I've never once seen a person and been like, Jesus Christ, like, but I don't know. A lot of it has to do with where you're raised. Either of you guys ever met someone like literally racist?
Literally?
Well, I only mean that, like, you've met racist people who didn't talk to you about racism, I'm sure. Like, that's not the fact. That's probably just
Oh.
So, like, if you met someone who, like, you were in a conversation with them and like, oh yeah, those in quotations in a word, and you're like, okay.
Oh, for sure.
I've heard, I feel like that's hearing people say racist things more than somebody being entirely racist. I don't know.
Well, what do you define the difference as? Like, I am not a murderer because I talk about murder, but if I were to spout comedy about racism, I don't think I'm a racist. But if I were to just nonchalantly talk about it, I think I'd put that more in a racist category than a non.
That's a good question. Yeah, I haven't really thought about it.
I don't know. I'm not just
not jump subjects, but I want to ask before I forget. Is that sign up there ceramic?
No, it's actually Topher had it made for me. It's wood.
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
awesome.
Okay, makes sense.
Topher, did you make that, or you just got someone to make it?
No, I have a friend of mine that does woodworking like that. He does all kinds of. I actually gave him a lot of business this Christmas. He made stuff like that for a bunch of people for me.
And then what is the machine that it's sitting on?
The computer I built at the beginning of COVID. Me and my girl saved up money, and I ordered like $2,400 of parts, and then cross-referenced 14 manuals and put it together by myself.
Wow, that's impressive.
I was an electrician apprentice for 3 years. Not that I think it mattered too much, but when I was reading some of those wire descriptions, it definitely seemed to make it easier. I don't know. Now that I know how to do it, I've already helped like 3 or 4 people build a computer. She's gonna destroy my paper wall. She does it every night. But yeah, no, the PC community is so cool. I was an Xbox and a PS4 console gamer for like 10 years, and I loved it. But I got a new laptop every year. Like, you buy a $300 laptop, $500 laptop, buy MacBooks, but you buy a $500 laptop, and a year later, it just it overheats, its processor doesn't work. You wipe it, and then it still barely works, and it's like I don't know. So it seems stupid to be buying laptops for business. And, if I ever wanted to have a machine to produce music and, prior to podcasting, music was my main goal, and I'm going to outsource my entire music career, and so I just.
What's your genre of music? Are you mostly solo, or do you have a band or so?
No, completely solo. I definitely want a band, but I'm not going to. The band aspect of writing music is the least practiced version of my skills. Mainly I focus on writing. Like when I first started writing music, I was just doing it out of inspiration and the need to. And then I learned about music theory and about how like Eminem and Tupac make every song just sound good. And there's a science behind how you write it. and every syllable, every bar, everything is counted. There's nothing out of place. And I was like, well, I'm anal retentive, so let's build a scientific theory for how to build a rap song where I don't have to put in anything but words. Like I don't have to put in thought or theory or build the metaphors. I just had to, okay, compound rhyme is scornfully and mournfully. Each word has 2 syllables. Each of the syllables rhyme unequivocally. That's a compound rhyme. That's how Eminem sounds good and Tupac sounds good. It's like once you learn those few 5 or 6 different rhyme schemes and the types of stuff, to me it was like goodies in a candy bag. I was like, oh my God, they're taking what I sat in a paper and crumpled up for fucking weeks and making it simple. They're like, oh, 2 + 2 is 4. Okay, so this and this and this sounds good. So I just write that line 10 times with 10 different versions of words, and one of them works. I don't know. But now I'm into the working on freestyling and working on getting, recording quality good enough to actually publish and produce. And I'm doing the whole thing myself, record, mix, master, publish, produce, market. I'm not signing a label. I'd like to have a label someday, but I'm going to do all this behind being a parent and working a 9-to-5 as the backup. And then when the backup becomes resilient, I'll cancel the primary for what I would rather do. And that seems more rational. The people who quit their main career and live in a van, I respect them, but I have a kid. Like I can't,
You can't afford to.
but I'm not gonna,
What's your rapper name?
Short, but I got a work emergency that's kind of been like developing in the process here.
No, you're good. We can cut real quick. You guys, plug your stuff real quick if you could.
It's a Crazy Weather podcast.
Well, it's Weather's Crazy Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Weather's Crazy Pod. And then our personal Instagrams are linked from there. So yeah, Weather's Crazy Pod, Greg and Jack. Thanks for having us on, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this is really fun.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you
happy
guys.
to do it again.
Good luck with the work.
Work emergency. Hopefully everything gets resolved.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everybody have a great night.
You too.